The film industry is a monopoly, and as time progresses, it only seems to be getting worse. The Ellison family-owned Paramount recently acquired Warner Brothers, which has reignited this monopoly discussion, largely due to people raising concern after Paramount has bent the knee to appease President Trump since his re-election, censoring 60 Minutes, canceling Stephen Colbert, and pushing CBS News to become increasingly right-wing, with many people worrying that the films released by the studio will become increasingly propagandistic. Although these are certainly valid concerns, this is nothing new. Big studios have been buying up smaller production companies for basically as long as the film industry has existed. This is something that occurs in all fields of business, not just entertainment, but it's particularly damaging in media when so much of the news and entertainment we consume come from these companies. It can get gross fast. Although Disney has technically been making propaganda for the American military-industrial complex forever at this point, it's now gotten to the point where it's genuinely creating morally bankrupt live-action remakes of beloved shows, but changing the ending so the conclusion is that you should give your children up to the state. I'm of course referring to the live-action Lilo and Stitch film that was one of last year's highest-grossing films. And hey, if general audiences like generic remake slop, maybe they'll like generic AI slop too, which is why Disney has plans to partner with OpenAI for upcoming changes to their Disney Plus streaming platform. But at least they still put things in theaters. A company like Netflix usually sends its films straight to streaming because they know lots of people won't bother going to the theater to see a movie anyway. The movie-going experience has become so unaffordable. It makes sense that lots of people just wait until it's on streaming or available to rent, especially nowadays when a home video release being only a week or two after the theatrical one is an increasingly common occurrence. Why watch a movie in its intended setting when you can watch it on your TV at home? Hell, why watch it to begin with when you can play it in the background while folding laundry? Let's pressure our filmmakers to have extremely dumbed down descriptive dialogue so people don't actually have to look at the screen to know what's going on in the movie. This is an actual thing that Netflix does. It's like we're going back in time to radio plays. I mean, good God, just put on a podcast at that point. Oh wait, Netflix has those too now, for some reason. I could go on and on about various studios and streaming giants and all their moral failings, but that's not what this video is about. Regardless of how we feel about the actions of these companies, the truth is that even if they all behaved like saints, it is irresponsible to have so much power consolidated amongst such a small group of companies. But if that's how our politics operates, then surely entertainment should be the same. After all, the line between the two has become increasingly blurry in this past decade. The film industry has been a monopoly before, with the big five studios of 1930s Hollywood, eventually being broken up by government antitrust laws in the landmark United States versus Paramount Pictures Inc. Supreme Court case in 1948. So does this mean there's hope for future government intervention in this area? Under a different regime, maybe. But wouldn't it be better if we lived under a system where this battle didn't have to be fought over and over and over again? Although there's certainly smaller studios that exist outside of the monopolies, it's only a matter of time before they're bought out too. What I believe to be the future of truly artistic cinema is public funding. This is a thing in my home country of Canada, as well as in France, Italy, Denmark, Norway, Germany, South Korea, India, China, and the list goes on and on. This is not that radical of a concept. Although there's certainly flaws within public funding as well, it often allows creatives to have far more artistic freedom, since they don't necessarily have to be profitable, allowing for more unique and experimental filmmaking. For example, if we look back at the Soviet Union, a country that once prided itself on being antithetical to capitalism, before good old pizza-eating Gorbachev pushed it towards the hyper-capitalist oligarchy Russia is today under Putin, they used to make lots of really interesting films. Don't get me wrong, there was incredibly heavy censorship from the government on its art, but compared to the modern hyper-capitalist American film studios of today, filmmakers actually had more freedom under this government that we in the West refer to as totalitarian. If you don't want to believe me, that's fine. But the same opinion was shared by George Lucas, director of a little-known underground film called Star Wars. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's pretty obscure.
And they'd say, "Oh, but aren't you so glad that you're in America?" I said, "Well, I know a lot of Russian filmmakers. They have a lot more freedom than I have. All they have to do is be careful about criticizing the government. Otherwise, they can do anything they want."
And so what do you have to do?
You have to adhere to a very narrow line of commercialism.
When art is made for profit and no other motivation, is it even art? It's no wonder there's people who genuinely believe that a computer can create art. They fundamentally misunderstand the concept of art to begin with, as a form of human expression, whether that be an expression of our souls or just our unique neurological wiring and experiences. It's far more meaningful than just simply giving a prompt to a computer. Whether it be a film, a painting, a book, a song, whether it's good, bad, or mediocre, so long as the system is profit-driven, those who provide funding will always play it safe, whether that's propagandistic reboots and remakes, or unique experimental expressions of what it is to be human. We end up with work that's marketable instead of work that's meaningful. It's no wonder it feels like much of our culture has stagnated. When the few people lucky enough to make it as an artist or a filmmaker are forced to adhere to whatever rules those funding it have settled upon, the artist's vision can get diluted, which inevitably leads to slop. And of course, there are always gems for those who look beneath the surface. It's just a shame that that's not usually what gets rewarded. And as deeply flawed as our current system is, there will always be outliers. Filmmaking is as accessible as ever, and I don't mean through typing some prompts and having a computer drink several gallons of water to shit out some remix of whatever pre-existing data is already out there. I mean through consumer-grade cameras. Film a movie with your friends and edit it with a free video editing software. Hell, the camera doesn't even have to be modern or good looking, so long as you work within your limitations and have a realistic view of the film you're making. The institutions of the 20th century have consolidated into pure greed and slop, so I say leave the slop for the pigs and go use your abilities to create something for those with a mind open to receiving it. Will working filmmakers ever be able to make fair wages without sacrificing their vision? Truthfully, I don't know. The sad reality is that people working in most fields are overworked and underpaid. This isn't just about filmmakers or artists, but the working class as a whole. I'm not pretending to have the answers or directions on what is to be done, but what I do know is that a better world is possible, and we should work towards that goal. Although we're certainly powerless as individuals, if we come together, I honestly think we can achieve a lot more than you might expect. Don't be a doomer. Try Optimaxing instead. That's about it for this one. I hope y'all enjoyed this sort of rant style video format. I think I'm gonna start doing more of these. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want videos similar to this or just general film discussion type videos in the future, and leave a comment with your favorite indie film you've seen in recent years. If I'm able to find it and give it a watch, then maybe I'll reply to your comment and let you know what I thought about it. And as always, don't forget to take the cinephile pill.